Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven development video. I'm recording this on January 30th, 2012 and picking up where I left off in the last episode when I had just been working on finishing up the last little bit of UserEnteredDollars. That's our new class that will store out the user's text that they enter in the screen and act like a dollars in every other way so that we can save that text in our save file. Because prior to this we didn't have any way of saving weirdnesses like this, and I want to save that. So now I was just doing the last little test, making sure that the UserEnteredDollars class could render itself, and we'll have tell $A to render itself, and then assert that it is the same as its string value. And expected $1 was null. We'll just have it do its backing dollars thing. And I'm hoping that will work. It should. I mean, that was pretty much all there was to it. I don't see anything special about the way render is happening here. Nope. No, it doesn't care about the type. Invalid dollars shouldn't care about the type. Nope. Everything's good. The only tricky thing is that everywhere else I've got render down at the bottom. So there we go. All right, so now we've got UserEnteredDollars completely implemented as far as I know. I don't see anything else missing. Got parse implemented twice. It's time to get rid of that. So now that render is implemented, I think the reason this code wasn't working before, back in episode 161 or 162, whenever it was, I think it wasn't working because render didn't exist, and so the test was relying on render working properly. So that was a nice catch on the part of that test. Now though, we should be able to just say return new UserEnteredDollars text and have it work. And fingers crossed, it does work. Fantastic. So now I'm hoping we can inline this. Yep. And see everything still work. Yep. Get rid of this to-do, fix this method name, and there we go. Done. Cool, cool. That took a little longer than I expected. Let's see, this is 167th episode, so it took about an hour and a half of coding. Which isn't too bad for a brand new class, value class that's had a little bit of unexpected surprises in it. In terms of that double dispatch stuff. We had to solve a real problem. So that's done now, I think. We are now creating UserEnteredDollars rather than asking for parsing. And I think if we go into our UI code and our dollars text field, we'll see that. I hope. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. We return a new UserEnteredDollars using the text. Fantastic. And before, this must have had the parsing. So that's cool. Let's do a quick desk check. Make sure this works the way it's supposed to. It's all looking good. Oh yeah, it's working perfectly. You'd never know that it had a new underlying data type. But the cool thing about that is it's going to give us all kinds of power in terms of what we do in our UI. Now that we have this UserEnteredDollars, we'll be able to do things like, well, maybe not. I was thinking that we could do things like reset the value of the text back to, have it render properly when we move away, and then render render the original data when we move back, but we actually had the capability of doing that already because the text field has the original text in it. But it should be a lot easier now for us to save out that data and get it back. So next we've got to do a bunch of cleanup. We've got a bunch of to-dos and some other stuff. So let's get started on that. Okay, so let's just run this down. Dollars test, yeah, we don't need this anymore. We might bring it back if we move a bunch of the logic into dollars. So let's leave it for now. This still needs to be finished, and that still needs to be done. So, okay, I guess that will come later. Let's look at our scratch pad. We had talked about promoting the dollars implementations to the dollars superclass, and you know, I think we could do that because they are pretty generic. If we look at valid dollars, which is where all those implementations are, then yeah, we've got, well, we could promote them, but user entered data is going to be the same. The only real benefit we get is we wouldn't have to implement them in invalid dollars, but I actually think having them implemented in invalid dollars makes what's going on more clear. You look at it and you're like, oh yeah, everything just returns invalid dollars. So that's nice and clear. So no, I don't think I'm going to promote them. So let's get rid of that. And that's, anything else in Scratchpad? Nope, just saving stuff. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Let's go ahead and delete dollars test. We don't need it now because we've moved the parsing out. You know, one thing we could do, we've got invalid dollars, which is new invalid dollars. We've got valid dollars, which is new valid dollars. But then we've got this create method, which is, well, it's awkward. Everywhere that we want to create valid dollars, we have to do valid dollars.create instead of new valid dollars. And it returns a dollars rather than a valid dollars because it could possibly return an invalid dollars. Now we do that for our own purposes here. I think what I'd like to do is make this private actually. Oh, but that's, so what I want to do is just go back to saying new valid dollars. We only use it in the tests, and just have this say, if not in range amount, or actually let's just do an assertion. How do we do that? Yeah, require that the amount be in range, invalid dollar amount outside valid range. I like putting the actual amount in because when the code does fail in the future due to some programming error, it's really obvious why. Yeah, so I want to make this public, so we can just say new. I want to make this private because we aren't ever creating dollars directly, I don't think. Well, we can leave them both. We can leave them both public. Yeah, I'll leave them both public just because I don't want to go through and refactor everything. But in the future, I can just say new valid dollars, and that will be a lot simpler. All right, so yeah, I think that's that. And now we should, did we delete dollars test yet? Yeah, there was some discussion of moving this into dollars, but I don't think we should actually. This is really about dollars, and that's why I was thinking about making it private. Yeah, actually, let's make that private. That will clear a lot of confusion up. And the reason that's okay is because whenever there's a question about whether or not we're creating something valid, we're actually doing it through the user-entered dollars. So that is just fine. Now that's going to cause everything to break, everything and its cousin to break. But I think we can do a global search and replace, I hope. Valid dollars.create. I don't know how this works actually. Is there a way to do a search and replace? Yes, there is. Yeah, we're going to replace it with new valid dollars. Perfect. Hope this works. It's going to be a real mess if it doesn't. Everything looks good. Okay. Yeah, this is no longer relevant because there's no way to create valid dollars outside the valid range. So let's just I do like this, having this code, so I'm going to go ahead and oh, it looks like, yeah, that's not public. Well, now it is. Normally I don't make assertions on, I don't test assertions, but this seems like a case where it would be useful. Mostly because that's not a number issue. This should be working because I haven't changed the underlying code. I'm just refactoring the test. And then last, okay, this should work. All right, so that brings us to the end of our cleanup, and yeah, I think we're good. I'm really happy with what this has done for the code. I think it's a big improvement. Glad to get this done. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so that really is going to be all I'm going to record tonight. So it'll be a little while before I record again. Again, you'll see it on the normal schedule though, but I should be able to see your comments for a change. Thanks very much for watching. Next time we'll pick up going back into the persistent stuff, doing some save files. So thanks very much for watching. I will catch you next time.